So I've taken the first step and I've made the button for the discussion board, which links to the discussion board area. And this is the area where you are going to house all of the different discussion boards in your course. So let's start by looking at the forums. The forums are the places, or are going to be the discussion boards that you're going to create. So step one is to think about what discussion boards will you have this year. And the easiest examples to think of are book groups. For each book that I'm going to read or have my students read, I am going to create a discussion board for that book. So let's click on Forum, and the name of this forum is going to be Book Group 1 Sign of the Beaver, because I know that's one of the books that I will be reading in class with a group. The settings I could change to best fit my needs, but right now I'm just going to keep them the same and hit submit. And now right here in my discussion board there is one forum. That means there's one place for a discussion group to occur. Okay? Now I know that there's other book groups that I'm going to have, other places for discussion boards, so I'm going to go to forum and I'm going to add another discussion. And I know that I'm going to have a second book group that's going to be reading Call of the Wild. Again, I'm going to leave everything just as it is and hit submit. Now I've got two discussion boards here. Now before I go into those discussion boards and begin to ask questions and responses and be interactive, I want to manage these discussion boards. And when I mean manage, I mean who is going to participate, who is going to have access to these discussion boards, because not everyone needs to, because not everyone is going to be reading these books. So, Sign of the Beaver. I'm going to look at the button for Manage, click it, and it will list everyone in my course. And now I have to decide, well, does everyone in my course need to be part of this discussion board, or maybe only those people who are reading those books? And in this case, it's only those people reading this book. So, Shamarlis is not reading this book, so I'm going to block him. John is not reading this book. I will block him. Okay? I am the manager by default, and you will be as the course instructor. There are other options: moderator, reader, manager, grader, participant. For your purposes, and probably the easiest thing just to kind of start with, is make everyone a participant who is part of the book group, and just leave yourself as the manager. So right now, Matthew and Richard are the participants in this discussion board, and Shamarlis and John are blocked. And now press OK. What I've done was I have only allowed certain people to view this discussion board. So when Shamarlis logs on, he won't see this discussion board or have access to it, while Rich and Matthew, who do have access to it, will be able to see this discussion board and talk. Let me now go into Call of the Wild, and I will manage this discussion board. Well, Call of the Wild, Matt is not reading it, so I'll block him from that. Rich is not reading it, and I will block him. But John and Shamarlis are reading this book, so I will make sure that they are participants, which they are, and I will press OK. Now later on you could begin to change the roles of different people as manager and so on to give them more control of the discussion board and you less of it, which means you get to do less work, which could be good in the long run. So go ahead, take the second step, and begin to think about what types of discussion boards you want to have, and by clicking on the Forum button, create those discussion boards, and then use the Manage button to decide who is going to participate in those discussions. And next we'll talk about actually posting and replying.